One of the ways you could use your new iPad with the Logitech pencil or Logitech crayon to help teach your students is to use an app called Pear. In Pear, you have a slideshow like this one that has information to be shared. The first several slides in this Pear are showing the students how to regroup in math. And then when they get down to the part where it is time for them to draw and write out the answers to a problem, they have a slide where it says, go ahead and draw on this slide. The teacher would lead the students through the first several slides, talking to them about how regrouping happens. And the teacher is in control of the students' Chromebooks in Pear. So starting up Pear, you have a slideshow already created. You turn on the add-on for Pear. And then instead of sharing a slideshow up here at the top, you start with share the lesson and decide if the teacher is going to be in charge of that activity or if the students are going to work their way through it. So if this is a teacher-led lesson, it's going to come up with a presentation code that the students join. So on my Chromebook or on the teacher's iPad, you sign in with a code. On my iPad, I would either shine my iPad to the screen after the students have gotten all logged in, or I could shine the presentation to the screen. I'm going to go ahead and go to peardeck.com and show two different windows. So give me just a second. When the teacher logs in, they have the option of showing the projector or the dashboard. My projector is already open. That's what the students would see. And if I was going to do a split screen, I would send this image to the projector or to the television and leave this image on my device. This is where the student work would come in. And if I had a whole class full of students, when I got to a slide where they're supposed to be working, where this slide says circle the ones on the teacher dashboard, it's waiting for someone to respond. So on my presentation screen, you could leave this up front if you wanted. And when a student, like myself, replies to the presentation, I'm going to circle 10 ones. I need to regroup. If I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I have, oh, and my pen is too dark or too big, so I'm going to scooch it down and circle 10 ones. So I have 10, and there are 3 left over. So these 10 get turned into the 1 that you carry, and then you only have 3 ones left there. So they're supposed to circle 10 ones. On the dashboard, the teacher sees my work. It has my name at the bottom. And if I wanted to, I could click on show response. And in the presentation screen, what the students are seeing is only the response that the teacher made. Or if you had other students who were answering correctly or answering incorrectly in a way that you wanted to share with the class, the dashboard shows the teacher which students answered. And if I decide to show that to the class, this comes up, but it doesn't have my name at the bottom. So I'm working on my iPad as a student, and in the classroom on the television screen, the students are seeing an anonymous answer. So the teacher could talk about what was being done as she teaches. Or the teacher could decide to share her iPad and then just use the dashboard. And as you move to the next slide, you talk about it, and your screen showing your iPad would show just this one slide over here. And then when you move to the next thing, you talk about it. I have to move these 10 ones over to here. You keep going down, and all that's showing to the television is this part of the screen, just what the teacher has on their device. If I slide down to a section where I'm supposed to do more. I'm supposed to add the tens. So I carried over 10 ones to make that 10 at the top. And I'm supposed to add the tens. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3 more is 6. So as I write and work on my iPad, it's showing up here. And on the presentation screen, which might be, looks like we got a lag. It's not showing my work. But if you were sharing your iPad, it would be showing the students the work on the screen. So that's one way to use your iPad as a workstation and show the students the work you're doing on the television as it happens. When you're finished and ready to end the session, you can click on end. The other thing I forgot to mention is if you wanted to, you could switch to a student-paced section. So now the students are in charge and they can move through the slideshow at their own pace, answering any questions that they have time for until they finish and turn in their work on their own. So it could start as a teacher-directed lesson at the top as you're going and doing the teaching and working together. And then when you get down to where it's your turn to practice, now you practice, this would be a great time to turn on the student pace section. And the students would see the question. It would lead them through what they're supposed to be doing each time. So the problem is here. It's telling them they're supposed to be carrying. It gives them the answer on this slideshow, waiting for a response. And then, looks like I'm frozen. But that's one way, using Pear Deck and your iPad with your crayon to share the work.